compassion and other people. And if you just work to pass the test, it's not what you need to learn in school, as you all know. I think everybody knows realistically that school isn't just answering a bunch of questions. It's what school's supposed to do to mold somebody to have a happy, productive, cultural, religious life. I mean, be a real human, as much of a human as you can be, and not be phony or, That's why I don't like the whole celebrity business. I really don't consider myself a celebrity. I happened to move here, and some people interviewed me, and I got my name in the paper. The celebrity it's a really empty place. People who just want to be a celebrity, they get there and they look around and they don't even know who their real friends are, what really matters. Money doesn't, if you go into music for money or that celebrity thing, or to meet girls or boys or whatever, you're not going to do it for the right reasons. It will not make you happy. If you go into music, there's only one thing you need to want from it, and that's that joy of playing music. That's all.
For struggling musicians, and I'm still looking for this answer, what advice can you give for how does someone make it in music?
I guess that depends on what you consider making it. I think you're making it. I think Dave Miller is a music maker. He's encouraged you and taught you, and he plays all over the area, and he works on projects recording that people use all over the world. That's making it, I think. You could make it would be that I can tell you ways that if you work 40 hours a week, most musicians don't put in 40 hours a week. Now, somebody who works at the post office or teaches school or works in a factory or a warehouse or drives a truck, they work 40 hours or more a week. And to be a musician, if you put in 40 hours, I tell people just that much. You practice 4 hours at a time every day. You practice. You make phone calls. You read books. You listen to different kinds of music and different musicians. You study. If you put in a 40-hour week after week, you'll make it. That's a lot. Most musicians don't do that. They get lazy. They get a few things. They get pretty good, and they start going and playing, and they play the same things over and over. And they start spending time not working. They're not working on their instrument. They're not working on music. They're not working hard. They're just kind of being lazy. And that will go nowhere. Well, it goes somewhere, but not where you want to go. I think making it is a state of mind. And I'd say that there's a tipping point. They say that if you put 10,000 hours into an art, you will go to another level. And it isn't just drumming, whatever it is. If you put in 10,000 hours at this over a period of 10 years, you will have made it in whatever field you want to make it into. That's hard work. That's all it is. Just do with it.
What is your favorite sound?
That one's right there. Yep. I remember when my first daughter was born, and they brought her over, and I looked at she went, "Isn't she lovely?" That tune by Stevie Wonder. He wrote that about his daughter, and I love that too. If you know that, look that up on YouTube. "Isn't She Lovely" by Stevie Wonder. It says it all. It's about children, future, their voices, their laughter. I love walking in and seeing this little kid dancing around and laid down on the floor. "Hi, boy, you rock and roll boy, aren't you?" Lay down on the floor. Yeah, kids' voice, that's the best sound in the world.
What is your favorite word?
Oh, God.
solid. Solid. That means somebody stands behind their word. It's really what it is, solid. And we live in a culture where there's not a whole lot of solids. There's a lot of promises, a lot of flash and glimmer and all this, but solid. I don't know. I just thought that now. No preparation on that one.
What's your least favorite word?
Violence. Because violence, you never know how it's going to go. If you can, I'm a pacifist. If you want to rob me, you're going to rob me, and I'm not going to fight back. Because I don't believe, I know that if I can fight back, I'm pretty large. This guy's large. We start over to the point that we become violent. You never know what direction it's going to go. It can go so many ways. You can end up really hurting somebody and they'll be a quadriplegic for the rest of their life. Or you end up killing somebody. Violence is like that. You just never know where it's going to lead. And so I just think that we've evolved enough as human beings that we should be able to resolve our differences and work things out. Because it's like I just see too much violence, desperate people, no jobs, drugs, alcohol, tension, families fighting, and wars going on. And I just see this is not the way even, if we don't change our way of living and evolve to that, I'm afraid we're going to do ourselves in one way or another.
When you pass on and you go to heaven, what would you like God to say to you?
I've got a drum set over here that needs tuning.
What do you love most about music?
What I love most?
Yep.
I like the way it makes me feel, and I feel it gets me on. But with no side effects, no money, no violence, no nothing. I can go to the piano and play there for 8 hours and it makes me feel good. Sometimes it takes a while to get started, you know. You sit down to play an instrument and you just don't get it going. But if you stay there for half an hour, you'll be changed and you'll be feeling good if you're a musician. Somebody who is a woodworker and builds music stands or fine cabinetry, they do that and they get the same thing. But it's getting over that first hump of about an hour at the very worst. Sometimes when I sit down and play, it starts and I love the way music makes me feel.
One more, and then I'll unleash you on these guys. How do you, as a musician, deal with adversity, as far as maybe a bad show, a bad song, things not going your way for any period of time? How does one overcome that? And what tools do you use to get over any kind of problems you would have as far as music goes?
Well, that's a tough one. I don't know. I have to analyze myself because I know that if I don't play well, sometimes if I feel like I didn't play well, sometimes I sit down with my drums and somebody asks me about that. I've been playing since I was 10 years old and I'm 67. That means I've been playing drums for 57 years. And I still haven't got it right. But sometimes I'll go to the drums and it's like I've never played them before. It just feels like I can't seem to get, they just isn't falling together for me. And when that happens, you know, I play through it and do a decent job. People don't notice it. But that's a hard one for me to get out of the state of mind until I get to play again when everything falls in place. I don't know. That's a hard one because when I have a bad show, it'll hang on to me sometimes for days, and I just can't get out of the funk. Basically, I could say that good nutrition, eating well, a lot of greens out of the garden and stuff like that, very important. Because sometimes you don't feel good because you're just not fueling your body with good stuff. If I go out and pick a whole bunch of, right now, Brussels sprouts are starting to come. And if I eat a big bowl of Brussels sprouts, it'll give me, and sometimes that'll just give me, I feel like Popeye, you know. Like, it gives me a strength to come up out of that funk that I'm in. But sometimes, I don't know, the only, I don't know, I don't want to get too far into this, but I'd say prayer is something when it's really desperate, I rely on prayer. And that's about as far as I'll go with it, because everybody's got their own way of praying. And for me, drumming can be praying. There are drum rhythms that I can play, and while I'm playing them, I'm offering them up as a prayer to the Great Spirit. Whatever that is, however you want to look at it, it's God or Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad or the White Buffalo, whatever your tradition of believing in something bigger than humans is. That drumming can be a prayer, and also praying, just praying, getting down on your knees and being humble before the Lord and saying, I'm not happy. This isn't working. I'm not doing things well. So that's sort of hard to talk about that because it's so personal. Prayer, drumming, practicing, going seeing friends. I know one thing is that sometimes it's easy to get so isolated, and I don't see friends for a while, or I'll be traveling and I don't see my friends, I don't see my wife, I don't see my kids, and I have to go. I just need to see some other humans and their friends and hang out together and feel that community, and then it just fixes everything. I feel good again. One way I find is to do something good for somebody else. I was feeling really crappy about a month ago, and I just didn't know what to do, and I thought, I was driving by Riverwood, and I remember a friend of mine's mother's in there. And I know her, but I hadn't gone to visit her, and I thought, I'm going there. So I went in and saw Virginia's aid and hung out with her for about an hour. When I came out, it was like I'd been lifted what was bothering me, because this woman really enjoyed having a visitor. So I think doing something for somebody else, somebody completely not for your best friend or your family, do it to somebody that needs something you can do for them. And that, when I'm depressed, that helps me out of that funky place of being down.
Well, I can say, if you guys value my music, if you value me as a teacher, it does come from somewhere, and a big part of mine comes from this man right here. I've learned more about music in the short time that I've known Steve than I have practicing for many, many years. The first time I watched him not play, but listen to a song, I felt like I learned volumes. To me, Steve, I think you live and breathe this. I think it's in your blood, and I don't think that'll ever leave. And I pray it doesn't. And we all can learn a lot from Steve. I know I have, and now that Steve and I are working together with various projects, and hopefully more to come, and maybe we'll get that Japan trip and play out there. It's been great. We all really appreciate you coming here and talking to us. So thank you very much.